Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Jandal Season 6 for another round of the Season 6 round. Funnily enough, I am missing my co-commentator at the moment, so the lobby is up and we'll have a look at that.
Green light, go, go, go.
So as you can see, $16 people at the moment. We've got a couple of Astons, 4 Astons at the moment. We've got 3 AMGs, 3 BMWs, 2 Ferraris, 1 Lexus, and that is about it at this present time. So just waiting for So there we have it, people. Riding on board with Duke at the moment, as I just get a few other things sorted out.
House said, hey mate. House said, could you drag me down to the box?
I've just got to find where he is. There he is. Here comes my other commentator, Harry Lillis. Welcome.
Mark Bratby, how are we?
I'm very well, mate, and yourself?
I am very good. Sorry I'm late, I was just finishing up my dinner. I'm excited to get commentating here.
As are we all. I've just got to set up a link for the Discord chat.
Yep.
So they can watch us live. So over to you for 5 minutes, mate, while I do this.
Awesome. Now, guys, what are we now? Round 4 or round 5 here?
Round 4 at Imola.
Round 4 of the Poker Cars series here at the Jandal Racing League. What a race we had last week, Mark, out at the Nürburgring. Lots of weather changes, went back and forth between rain and dry, kept going back, and man, what a difficult challenge for these drivers it was affecting that strategy. There really was no perfect strategy, but we did see who was it that came through in the GTR? It was
Ethan Wilcox.
Wilcox, that was the one who came through the field. What a drive it was from him.
Starting in
and
pit
here we
lane
are.
too.
Starting from pit lane, that's exactly right. And we've switched over to perhaps a more iconic track as far as GT3 driving goes, Imola. What a track. Definitely up there in my top 5, especially in this category of cars. Definitely a technical one. There's lots of high, medium speed corners with curbs that aren't friendly to some cars, but also some slower, more technical corners. We've got that chicane in the third sector there, as well as the final 2 corners, which are very hard to get right. You really got to pull up the car, but also carry a lot of speed through the corners. There's a lot of time to be gained and lost throughout the slower, more technical corners here. Let's have a look through. Delacroix, Duke, who was in the Audi last weekend out, he's switched over to the Merc, the AMG Evo. And once again, on top of the timesheets, as he just pulls over here to return back to the garage, the AMG Evo, typically one of the more powerful cars on the game here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. So Duke not running out of choices here on round 4. East running the BMW M4, also a typically strong car. Like we said last weekend, though, it has been nerfed to an extent, but still a very strong car. Lexus, run by Carson there, as well as a Bentley Falconer. So we've got a bit of variety here, as always, in the GT3 category. But, yeah, Duke, once again, coming out early in practice here, setting the bar really high for this field. Definitely class driver here.
Now, yeah, just with that, we were just in a bit of a practice race. Me and yourself were driving as well. But we saw Prune Tracy come up with a 42-1, I think it was, in qualifying. So
yes,
expect to watch him as well. And he is driving at the moment a Aston Martin. So he's currently pre-qualifying for an 8-hour event around here. So he has done a few laps. He was just saying. So yeah, it could be interesting. Could be a tight old top battle.
certainly could, Mark. Certainly could. We've seen lots of drivers evolve from really any situation. You know, we've seen people win from a pit lane, like we said earlier, from the pit lane last race in any car. You know, the beauty of balance of performance, while sometimes it favors a certain group of cars, really anyone can do anything, especially in sim racing. Really gives everyone a pretty equal opportunity. It's awesome to see some drivers really showing their skill on their stronger tracks compared to others, so really good to see. Pardon me while I get used to my camera controls here.
Yeah, pretty small field, only 19 tonight. He's starting to fall off just a little bit. We'd like to see a few more. We did have a few new guys join us for a couple of practice races, but it doesn't look like any of them have come in for the actual event. Everyone, I'm pretty sure I've seen their name before, so no threat of weather from what we have been told by the server creators, so should be a dry race, and times 3 I think it is for the times multiplier. So I do believe the race starts at 10 AM, which would put us finishing it at what, 4 I think.
Yep, roughly.
As East just has a massive moment into turn 1, 2, 3 there.
Now, as you said just before, Mark, Tracy seems to have replicated a bit of pace in that yellow Aston Martin. I believe he was in same colour but a Porsche last weekend out. So switching from the mid-engine to the front-engine cars, big change in Assetto Corsa as far as handling goes.
Yes.
Very big change, and some drivers prefer either. I'm personally more favouring of front-engine cars. That's just me. I ran the Aston Martin last season and I had quite a bit of fun in it, but I don't have as much fun in the Porsche. But you know, drivers have very different preferences, different driving styles, and it's good to see Tracy, by the looks of it, adapting pretty easily from mid to front engine.
He's got 3 tenths on Duke at the moment.
Yeah.
Rob Mitchell in P4 is out on track as well. We'll drive with him for a bit, coming down the hill. Now this is probably one of the trickiest corners, the second last corner on the circuit, as practice just finished.
Green light. Go, go, go.
So
At the back end of that mark, Tracy went even faster.
Oh,
Almost half a second between him and Duke there.
he did too.
So that's awesome to see. Oh man, I see a Aston Martin Vantage, the older one, the
The V12.
V12. Man, what a sound that is.
Who's driving that at the moment?
I believe it's Beers.
Believe it is Bees. Where is Bees on my sheetie? He is car 73 right there. No, that's Chris Broom. I don't want him. Still in pit lane at the moment. That could be a very different car for around here. Adam Falconer in the Bentley.
Yep. So we've got he's a lone wolf, Mark. The only Bentley out there on track.
Only one Lexus as well.
True that.
No Hondas, no Nissans, no Porsches, funnily enough to say.
Ah, that's a good point.
No Porsches.
Of course, it is a particularly smaller field than last weekend, but those are typically popular choices, Mark. Maybe it's just the fact that, obviously, like I just said, smaller field, and maybe some of the drivers have, well, most of the drivers have already used the Porsche, so a particularly popular option, not so much anymore.
Either that or the Porsche isn't overly good around here. There's not a lot of stop-start corners where the Porsche can make time. They're all very high-flowing cornering, so the Porsche just might lose a bit of time around here because its strong point's obviously getting out of the corner more than anything. So, yeah, interesting. No Porsche, no Nissans, no Hondas. No McLarens.
Yeah, oh wow. Yeah, true that. I did see a few McLarens in the practice session earlier, but none have come over to the actual session. Now, Beers has gone out in that awesome sounding V12 Vantage here, coming to Variante Delta. What a sound that is, ripping up the hill. Man, that never gets old.
No. Coming into the chicane now. We will jump back on board with Duke. It's just an absolute pleasure to hear this V12 run.
Here it comes, Duke, following shortly to Beers. Coming through the chicane. Now that's actually a good talking point there. Lots of cars are distinctly better in taking curbs, and the Mercedes tends to be one of those. It seems to be able to cruise over curbs quite nicely, and if you have a car that can do that, there's a lot of time to be gained in the chicane there. So the Mercedes might be a really good choice around here. Coming onto the main straight, we'll ride on board with Duke for a lap of Imola. A long back straight, if you want to call it a straight. A couple of kinks and corners. Absolutely nothing for any race car. Pretty easy. Dead easy flight. Coming into turn one, watching for the exit road there on the right side. Just after that, braking, catching a little bit of curb. Some cars, like I said earlier, can take the yellow sausages, but probably best to avoid them. He's got a little bit of slipstream here from a Merc up ahead, but coming into the second, I'd almost call them chicanes here, flying into the corner, carrying so much speed there. He's run into the gravel, have to carry so much speed into that corner, but it's very easy to run wide. He's run a little bit deep into the hairpin, very difficult one to get right there, taking a good amount of exit curb, running up the hill now, under the Audi bridge, approaching a very difficult left-hander, got to throw the car right in, carry as much speed as you can, using a good amount of exit curb, but not too much to unsettle the car, coming into Variante Delta, throwing the car into a right-hander, catching the curb there, Duke choosing to use quite a bit of the sausage curbs, and that might just cost him a bit of time there, perhaps a bit of dirty air from that blue AMG. Coming to the chicane now, throwing it over the sausage curbs. A pretty messy lap here from Duke, but it could be quick as he runs down the hill in the final sector here. Coming towards the final 2 corners. Very tricky ones to get right. Braking, heavy braking zone. So much front load on the car there. Braking downhill. Bit of exit curb. Throwing it back in again. Easy to understeer there on that final corner. Penultimate corner, should I say. Running out. Hugging the wall. Trying to cut off as much time as he can. A few hundred to be gained from doing that. Crosses the line. Sets a 43.0. There's definitely time in that for Duke.
That
Definitely
was a
some time in
43.2 actually. Harry's best is a 43.0.
43.0, yes. True that. My bad.
So, Rob Mitchell's out there on a lap. He's just about to come across the line himself in another AMG. He goes provisional pole with a 42.6.
Oh, wow.
Gunter Rowe in a M4. No, Simon Carson just did a 43.3 in the Lexus. So Lexus doesn't like the curbs though, so he's got a battle on his hand. Gunter is up a 10th, coming down onto the final 2 corners. Again, very tricky to get them right. If you do get them right, there's time to be made. If you get them wrong, you're going to invalidate or go into the sand trap. He's up 2 tenths before the run onto the main straight. What can he do? This might push him into the 42s if he's quick enough. 43.2. Puts him back on 3rd row. Tracy just come across the line and did a 42.3.
Wow.
In the Aston Martin, so he's on absolute fire. Duke's up 6 tenths at the moment. Coming out of the final corner now, running up to the start-finish line. What can he do? Oh! A 42.38. Exactly the same time as Tracy. Exactly the same time.
Wow. If that isn't an indicator of how close of a race we could have here. Mike East going to the top of the table. Topping them both by a
with a
42.2. Wow.
Tracy is up 2 tenths at the moment. Coming at the end of the... Well, he's just started the 3rd sector. Coming up to the chicane with the massive sausage curb. Uses all of the left-hand ripple strip. Gets out of the chicane quite nicely, still up 2 tenths. This could put him back on the provisional pole. Remember guys, the track's only fast at the moment. It's not even optimal temperature, optimal grip. He's just got that a little bit wide coming into the 2nd last corner. Nailed the final corner though. I don't think he's going to improve this lap. What can he do? A 42.4, so he doesn't improve. East is up 2 tenths, coming into the chicane now. So what can he do? Oh, he's got that M4 very sideways.
He's showing some strong pace here in that M4, coming through the final sector. Into the final 2 corners. Has to get this right. He has got a slight barrier to the guys behind, but some more time is always nice.
Oh,
he runs a bit wide out of that final corner, touches the gravel, and that probably is going to lose him all the time that he would have been gaining, but he does still improve, going about a 10th and a half faster.
42.1.
Bridging the gap out to 2.5 tenths to the next car of Tracy in that Aston Martin. Beautiful effort there by East in that M4.
So who else is on the move? You got Adrian on the move, coming up to the hairpinning sector too. He's up 2 tenths on his PB. And then you got Simon Churches in P8 with a 43.6. Adam Falconer with a 43.8. Paul Huddy with a 44.000. So then you got Darren Bridges, Delta, Woody, James Foster, Luke Sanders, Andy Linksgord, Mark Beers, Chris Broom, which was starting from pit lane, Mike Rill and David Mason currently taking out the final couple of spots there on the grid. So,
Duke now on a flying lap, approaching the second sector now. Seems to be much tidier than the previous laps we've seen from him. Is there time in here for Duke Delacroix in that Mercedes?
Adrian's just
He's
coming
got
up to
two
the
and a half
line.
tenths to pole. What can Adrian do as he crosses the line?
He's going to go better. 43.2.
Adrian there, moving up to 6th place. 1.5 seconds to pole for him in that Aston Martin. Duke now, very anti-alter. Getting that Mercedes pulled up, runs a little bit deep, but nice and tidy as he approaches the chicane now.
He's lost 3 tenths out of that one corner coming up the hill.
Wow. Yep. He's definitely run a bit deeper than he'd like to normally go. Is he still improving, Mark, or has he lost all the time?
No, he's 2 tenths off his personal best at the moment. If he has a really good final couple of corners, he could catch it.
East has done a 41.7.
Holy jeebus.
That is 6.5 tenths quicker than Tracy in that Aston Martin. So Meast absolutely killing it here at Imola. 6.5 tenths up in that N4. Unstoppable here. Duke, nothing to answer for it just yet. 8 minutes to go in the session though. Plenty of time.
We got Carson in the Lexus up to 2 tenths on his PB. Coming into the middle end of the middle sector. He just looks like he's a bit nervous here in the Lexus. Maybe running a bit too much rear brake bias, especially coming down that hill, trying to brake and get everything turned and stopped at the same time. Just doesn't look quite stable. Adrian betters himself again with a 43 flat.
Also doesn't help in that Lexus. Typically not the greatest over curbs, Mark, so definitely struggles around a track like Imola where you have to use quite a bit of curb to gain time. So
David Mason up 1.6 seconds on his PB.
Wow.
Coming into the final chicane. What can he do? Put himself up in the top 10 maybe.
Perhaps. Be an awesome effort here.
He's up 2 seconds, so it's going to be a 44 at this rate.
Approaching the final 3 corners. Oh, he runs a bit deep in that Aston Martin. That probably lost a bit of time, but he's probably still improving.
Oh, he's still improving. He's 1.6 up at the moment, coming across the line.
Moves up a few spots. Up to
Moves
14th.
up a few to 14th. There's a car coming out of pits there. Is that...
Oh, my word.
There's a few cars there. Very good
That
awareness not
was
to
feisty.
hit that other AMG. That was... I'm pretty sure that was Duke there
Duke.
somewhere.
Duke on his outlap.
And the other one of car 28 by the look of it, which is Rob Mitchell. So very good awareness there from Rob, Duke and Mason there not to have a massive accident. Who else have we got moving and shaking here? We got Mike Rill in the Ferrari. He's
We
up
also have
2
Tracy
tenths.
on his outlap, about to start another lap. Can he get up to me? 6.5 tenths he needs to find in this lap if he wants to take pole position here. At least for now, a provisional pole. As he comes onto the main straight to start his lap. We'll come back to him. Who else have we got here, Mark?
Just watching the end of Mike Reel. He's only up a tenth at the moment. He's going to better it to a 44.75. to take P14. Paul Huddy's up a 10th. Where is he currently? Just entered Sector 2. Carlson is right on his limit. Running the equal delta with his PB. Michael East is up 2/10. Just coming into Sector 2. Tracy's only up a 10th. Duke's up a 10th. So funnily enough, Duke and Tracy haven't been able to better their laps that they've done identical times to each other.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, these guys.
Or Tracy's run wide there.
Yeah, that's butchered. That'll be invalidated there. Outside of track limits. So this run for Tracy will not be the one. But I do believe Duke is still improving, Mark.
He's equal, but East is actually improving.
Oh my word. By how much?
2/10 at the moment.
Wow. East showing incredible strength here. Already.
Paul Huddy, Darren Bridges and Delta Woody are all improving by a couple of tenths each. We'll just finish this lap here off with East. There's a yellow flag, car number 5, that's Churches.
Over, I think.
On top of the hill. Here comes East, it's only a 10th. We say that like it's nothing.
That is, wow. So now he's bridged the gap to about 8/10 to the next car. That is a lot of time, Mark. A lot of time. And these guys are not slow drivers that he's going up against. We saw Duke absolutely dominate, well, at least the qualifying and early part of the race at Nürburgring. Incredibly strong drivers out here. Tracy as well.
And actually on that
that's...
Nürburgring, I did find out later that night from Duke, or maybe even the following day, he actually pitted and accidentally put dries on. So he couldn't recover it and hit the wall and lost too much time with the dries on the wet track. So unfortunate there for Duke. But hopefully no mistakes like that today from anyone. East is down, Tracy's up. Tracy's up a 10th. Adrian's up a 10th. Adrian's up to 5th.
Yeah, solid effort there.
Solid effort
by Adrian. Can definitely turn that into something here. It's a long race, Mark, an hour and a half compared to the normal sprint format with 45 minutes. So plenty of time. It's definitely not all about quali pace in endurance racing, not at all.
No.
You can really do anything from anywhere. Meese still seems to be pushing out there. Tracy closes the gap a bit to about just over 6/10 there.
Well, Tracy's done. He's just come into the pit lane. He won't get out and get another lap.
No. So who's going to be the last to cross the line?
Duke's just crossed the line and picked Tracy for P2.
Oh, wow!
With a 42 flat there from Duke. What's he got left in it? Can he take East? Adrian's down 4/10.
So I do believe Duke is still pushing for one more lap. Can he take provisional pole? He's grabbed a lot of sausage curb at the second run of corners there, just before the hairpin. Pushing every last drop he can out of that AMG. Desperation to grab that pole position from Meest. It's a big gap. Half a second in it here.
Oh, that might have been an invalidation. Just run a bit too wide there.
Meest looking incredible.
Oh, he's lost it. He's lost everything. Unlucky there for Duke. Who else have we got? Simon Carson's up on his PB coming up the hill in the Lexus.
Here we got Rowe is about to cross the line. He's currently 1.6 seconds off pole and he's pulled out of his lap coming into the pit lane there. We've got car number 8, that's East, coming over the line once more to finish his qualifying. Doesn't seem to improve there, he pulls out wide and comes off the gas. Car 73, I believe, is also not on a lap. 89, Carson in the Lexus. Is he improving, Mark?
He's dead even with his PB at the moment.
So there is only about a 10th from him to Rowe. He could gain a spot here if he has a good run.
He's got the 10th. He just lost a 10th coming out of the corner. He gained it in the corner, lost it out of it. This could be touch and go.
Church is just shortly behind him there. Car number 5 in the Aston Martin. Coming through the final corner. Not much time between him and Carson, and he's pulled out the lap. And that, Mark, is our qualifying session over.
Yeah, Luke Sanders was actually on. He must have been validated somewhere, but he was up 4 tenths. Just comes across the line with a 44.2, so that would have put him 13th. But he's obviously invalidated that lap, unfortunately.
Michael East taking pole position here at Imola, round 4 of the Jandal Racing Series, Season 6. Brilliant work there in the BMW, but now, Mark, we have an hour and a half of racing to go. Certainly, pole position does not mean you've won this race.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. And an hour and a half, so our first race was an hour and a half, our last 2 have been 45 minutes. So it just throws in another aspect of a bit of strategy to go with what's going to happen. So yeah, as I said earlier, no rain that we know of, or we're not expecting any rain. They haven't tried to put any rain into this. We're not expecting to race into the night or anything silly, so it should just be an all-out blast for 90 minutes for these 19 cars.
Mark, obviously we have a time multiplier here. The race is starting virtually at about 10 past 10 a.m. So we'll be crawling into the afternoon. Track temp currently is 26, so probably likely to crawl up into the 30s.
Yep.
We've got quite a few high load, high speed corners. You're striking curbs. Are we thinking tyres here, Mark? Or is it just not enough time to consider them worthy?
Nah, for an hour and a half, you'd have to take tyres. To push at these guys' limits, you'd be wanting tyres at your pit stop, whether that be you run a full tank of fuel and go for pits around the hour mark, or you split this down the middle and go 45-minute stints. Either way, you're gonna want tyres. I think Imola's a very, very harsh track on tyres.
Definitely.
Just because of the curbs, and in this, if you take a curb wrong, you could get a puncture, you could get a slow leak, and then, you know, that could throw 3-4 tenths out the window.
Yeah.
So yeah, tyres definitely, mate. I wouldn't think anyone would not take tyres.
Yep. So that's I wouldn't have actually known that. So good insight, Mark, there. And Imola is definitely up there in terms of tyre degradation. Obviously, the tyre stop will guarantee you 30 seconds in the pit lane. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking, I mean, you obviously wouldn't want like a slow puncture, and you'll probably start losing a hell of a lot of time towards the back end of this race if you choose not to. But if someone decides to load their car up on fuel, make their stop probably a good 20 seconds shorter than someone that would be taking tyres, is that 20 seconds enough to stretch it just maybe to the end of this race, or would it just be a bit silly?
Look, it all depends on knowing who you want to fight. Yep. Obviously, the top guys are all going to be doing the same sort of strategy. They'll put tyres on and just push. The guys, you know, from 10th back, maybe a couple of them might stretch tyres, trying to gain a couple of extra positions. But I'd reckon you'd make up that 30-second stop difference with a fresh set of tyres. It will be 52 odd lap race, so you're talking 20, 26, 27 laps if you go at the 45-minute stint, which is a lot of wear on your tyres, and
Definitely.
when they start to go, they fall off pretty quickly.
Definitely.
So
And on top of that as well, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, it's quite a warm track out there and it's not going to get any colder. And on top of that, obviously, as well, if you're caught in a bit of dirty air, your tyres are going to be working harder to maintain that grip, and hence they're going to rip through that tread, that valuable tread that you need to keep that time up, and that would probably close up that pit stop deficit, especially when you're running that full tank of fuel, a lot of weight on the car, it'll be sliding around. Those tyres will probably get shredded up quite quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
So with 22 seconds left to go, I'll throw it over to you in a minute, Harry, and we can do a grid walk while they go on their formation lap. Just remember, Chris Broome starting from pit. Last weekend, we had a guy starting from pit, took the race out for the win. So, over to you, Harry.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mark. Here we are at Imola on the formation lap, a full formation lap here. And we've got Michael East taking pole position here from Duke Delacroix. He was very strong last week out, so awesome effort from East there to take a considerable pole position in that M4. Shortly behind, we've got Duke Delacroix in the AMG Evo. Behind him, Tracy in that banana yellow Aston Martin. Beautiful car to see there. Behind him, another AMG, Robert Mitchell starting P4 there. Following closely behind him, Adrian Platt in the Aston Martin. Bit of an AMG Aston Martin fest up there. Strong cars. Here we go in P6, Gunter Rowe in the BMW M4. Followed by Carson in the Lexus P7 there. Behind him, we've got yet another Aston Martin. Simon Church is starting P8 in that yellow and green Aston Martin there. Another Lexus, Paul Huddy, starting there in P9. And to cap out the top 10, we've got Adam Falconer in the Bentley. Following behind him, we've got Darren Bridges in the Ferrari, starting P11. Followed by a fellow Ferrari, Delta Woody. In 13th, yet another Ferrari, the dynamic trio there. Mike Reel starting 13th. Behind him, James Foster in that chrome blue Aston Martin, followed by David Mason in the bright pink Aston Martin. Luke Sanders there, starting in the AMG Evo from 16. I don't think that's actually the Evo, pardon me. In the BMW M4, we've got Andy Lithgow starting 17th, followed by that beautiful V12 there, Mike Beers starting 18th. And to cap out the grid mark, Chris Broome starting at the back of the field, 19th in the BMW M4.
So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is our grid.
Cars starting to form up now from that single file shortly, at least anyway.
Yeah, after this this chicane here, they should get the call to start moving side by side, double up. East has got a big gap here, actually, forming.
Now, it does get a little bit messy in the final corners there, but they've got plenty of room on that main straight to get themselves sorted and into grid position. Turn 1 at Imola, or should I say turn 2 really, is not exactly a dangerous corner for sim racing on lap 1. It can get a bit hectic as there is that sausage curve that's quite aggressive on the inside, but we shouldn't see too many accidents here. Mark, I'll hand it over to you for the race start.
Alright, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming around the final corner now. We've got a BMW versus AMG coming off the line. And what a beautiful photo you got there, Chris Broome, just in the back of the video. Coming down the main straight doing 80 kilometres an hour. Still trying to warm front brakes up. Michael East with the inside line into turn 1. Might get a bit of hectic further back. But as we stand, we're currently waiting. It is 10:34 local time here at Imola. And we are racing. Let's go, go, go. And Michael's got a great launch there. Duke's right beside him. Mitchell's already alongside Tracy by the looks of it, but he's going to back out of it. Adrian's got a BMW right beside him. Goes back up front. East is running away with Duke. Tracy into P3, weaving just to try and get a bit of tyre temp into the first, into the tyres. My timing board is doing something very weird at the moment. Robert Mitchell in 4th, holding off an Adrian Platt. Gunter Rowe up there into 6th, Carlson in the 7th, Adam Falconer in the 8th, Simon Churches and Paul Huddy rounds out your top 10. Further on the back, Beers is having a look at, or is that Sanders having a look at Mason? Now they come down the hill.
Oh, Mitchell there. Robert Mitchell having to take a bit of, completely run off the track there. Running really deep into Variante Alta just before the chicane there. Losing a bit of time. Now, Duke deciding to bite the bullet there. He did break a bit late into turn 1, try and maybe get around the outside of Meest. But he decided to tuck in behind that M4's rear wing. But he certainly got a bit of pressure on him here.
Adrian's having a bit. Oh, I thought Adrian was having a look then at Mitchell, but he's decided to back out of it. There is... What else is going on back here?
Mitchell there in that Mercedes seems to have a bit of wobbles there. Adrian piling on the pressure.
So it's an outright drag race. BMW versus AMG.
Oh man, it's tightening up at the front. Tracy right on the back end of that Mercedes. Duke not having the best run through turn 1 there.
Oh, there's a BMW off wide. That's Gunter Rowe. He's gone off at turns 2, 3.
He's going to want to watch that rejoin.
He's rejoined safely, but he's lost a lot of time. So,
fairly clean start for the most part, Mark. Good to see. Not many accidents here at the start of Imola. Plenty of time to go if you have made some mistakes. The field starting to break up into a few sections here. We've got the leaders. We've got Michael East now starting to generate a bit of a gap back to Duke. And those three seem to have bridged the gap back to 4th and 5th, where Adrian and Robert Mitchell are fighting, with Carsten following shortly behind. A bit of a trio battle here between Churches, Huddy, and Mike Reel. And then a train led by Bridges in that purple and grey Ferrari. A train of about 6. Oh, we've actually got a battle at the end of that between David Mason and Luke Sanders.
And Mark Beers
right on the back end of that Aston Martin.
Mark Beers was having a go at that battle as well at the start of the lap. He's just fallen off a little bit now. And he's got Chris Broomy coming up behind him, currently coming through the pack.
Tracy's got a run on Duke, Mark.
Tracy's got a run on Duke. Tracy goes to the inside effectively for turn 2.
This could get feisty.
They don't want to battle. They don't want to lose time. Duke's just let him have that. Smart racing. Only 4 minutes into a 90-minute race.
No point battling here, gents. Plenty of time to go.
So Tracy moves up to P2, Duke down to P3, Robert Mitchell still holding P4, and he's pulled a bit of a gap here on Adrian Platt now into P5, Carlson in the P6, in the Lexus, Churches P7. So how did we get 2 Lexuses all of a sudden?
Yeah, I thought we only had one when I was reading through the grid there, and I saw 2. I was actually a bit stunned there. I didn't really know what to think because I could have sworn that we only had 1, but I guess we have 2 now.
So Huddy is chasing down Churches in the second of the Lexuses. He's got a bit of a gap behind him from Mike Reel, Darren Bridges, Gunter Rowe and Delta Woody, all having a bit of a battle.
The adrenaline of the first few laps starting to cool down now. Drivers. Oh, speaking of the which, there's a yellow flag at the chicane. Who is that? That is. Oh, it's Foster who must have gone off, and I think David Mason. 2 Aston Martins tangling there at the chicane.
Yeah. My timing sheet hasn't actually picked that up.
Yeah, it's having a bit of a freak out.
Yeah, David
fine.
Mason's in the pink and yellow Aston Martin at the back. So something must have happened to Falconer as well, because he's at the rear of the field in the Bentley. You can just...
But more to my point there, before that happens, the field's starting to settle down now after the first few laps. People tucking into the positions and sorting themselves out for the long run, settling in here, perhaps even backing off, trying to use less tyre for a bit more late stint benefit. No point fighting here and chewing up your tyres. The field's sort of starting to break away from one another. Just settle in a bit here. Plenty of time to go, an hour and 23 minutes. That time multiplier soon kicking in though. It's already 11 AM and the track temp has risen up to 29 degrees Celsius. That's certainly probably about optimal temperature, but anywhere further from here and you're going to get a little bit of sliding going on, Mark.
Yeah, a little bit of blistering if they're not careful on their tyres. Darren Bridges has got a Delta Woody right up his rear axle in the sister Ferrari. They come down the hill. Very nice track layout here for Imola. I do prefer the early 2000s version with a chicane right here on the main straight. But we don't all get what we want. Duke's up 8 tenths on his PB. He's lost a lot of time back to Tracy and East.
Yeah, Tracy really showing his skill here, forming quite a gap from Duke. Perhaps, Mark, it seems to be quite a bit of time. I'm not sure if Duke's made a few mistakes, but maybe a bit of tyre conservation. Is Tracy pushing a bit too hard?
I was just about to say that. Well, currently Tracy's got the fastest lap of a 42.625. Michael East has done a 42.767. And Duke's done a 44.2 was his last lap. So he lost 2 seconds there on the top 2 last lap. But it could be playing the long game rather than all-out pace at the start.
Yeah, definitely. And it wouldn't be a bad decision either. Definitely a favourable choice to go. Play the long game. There's no point fighting now. The moment is an hour or so down the line, not right now. And
No.
Tracy pushing. If he can push now and tuck in behind East's rear wing, that's if he can catch him. There could be some benefits regarding fuel saving. He could just tuck in behind the slipstream and
I don't know if that would hurt his tyres though. We got Chris Broome coming up the back of Sanders. For a move for 13th. Can he make the move into turn 2? He goes trying around the inside. He's very late looking lunge. He's just backed out of it. Just stuck the nose out there, mate. Sanders, keep an eye on the mirror. So
Luke Sanders with the gloves off here already. Certainly nothing wrong with a bit of racing, but he is really showing his teeth to that Mercedes there who is it?
That's Chris Broome in the BMW.
Yep, Chris Broome, sorry. Yep, mixed them up. Really showing his teeth.
Yep.
Here in that BMW. That very vibrant neon sort of colour combo there on that BMW.
Yeah, it's a bit
So we've got a
different
good
from
battle brewing
his usual paint scheme. It's usually golden something on his Bentley. It's rather good to see him stepping out of the Bentley for a change, and he's really taken a liking to this BMW, as we've all heard from him, and we will do throughout the race. So currently Michael East is P1, Prune Tracy is P2, currently catching him only 1.7 seconds behind now. He's 2.2 of a second quicker on their PBs, and that lap they were he was half a second quicker than East on that previous lap. So Tracy is catching. You got Duke in third with Rob Mitchell in fourth, and you got Adrian Palat in P5.
We have a bit of a battle, actually, Mark, between Churches and Carson. Sorry to cut you off here. Sorry, Churches and Huddy. My bad. They're nose to tail at the moment. Church is having to fight off that Lexus of Huddy here.
Yeah, Huddy hasn't found a way around him yet. I've been watching this battle here and there. He just can't quite get around him at this second. You got another battle for 11th as well with Bridges and Woody. They're only 4/10. Real and Gunter as well. So 7th, 8th are fighting, 9th, 10th are fighting, 11th, 12th are fighting, 13th, 14th are now fighting.
So a few battle packs,
So we got
battle duos, 1v1s here starting to form. Probably not a bad thing if they can learn to tame it and work together. There's benefits to be gained here from getting in little groups, using the slipstream to catch up to the next pack, but also if you're not willing to work together, there's a lot of time to be lost here, Mark.
Yeah, so Huddy seems to be weaker on the third sector or the end of the second sector. He's just lost a bit of time now to Churches, but he seems to gain that all back up in the front of sector 1. So I'm just wondering how... I know that Lexus is stupid quick down this main straight. For all intents and purposes, we call it a straight.
As you say that, he's gained so much time back there on that Aston Martin.
It is
just by going down the back straight.
Yeah, it is stupidly quick. So maybe it just can't take the twisty stuff of sector 2, which is,
could also just be that struggling with the curbs.
Yeah, it's never been a strong point.
The Aston Martin, on the other hand, is quite comfortable with curbs from experience.
Yes.
So definitely the variety in the GT3 category showing here, and the strengths and weaknesses of each car.
So Luke Sanders has lost out to Chris Broome somewhere there.
Indeed.
We got Mark Beers, Andy Falconer and David Mason all battling.
And as well as that, Gunter Rowe starting to close in on the back of Mike Reel, really piling that pressure on. Just these battle packs not letting down. Oh wow, Reel really late on the brakes there into the chicane. Actually loses a bit of time to Reel, who takes the corner a bit more civilized, gaining time there.
So we'll go back to this battle here with Mark Beers. He's just gone exceptionally wide, giving Mason all of the racing room in the world in the older of the Aston Martins. Wouldn't you like to be in the Aston Martin workshop seeing a V12 holding up the V8, the newer gen of the Aston Martin? Oh, Mark just goes a bit wide. That's not going to help him. Got to stay out of there, buddy.
Beers struggling in that older Aston Martin. Maybe not the car of choice at this particular circuit. Still gorgeous to listen to, regardless. Seems to be a battle forming here on my track map. A battle for 3 between Bridges, Woody, and Broome. They really seem to have timed up in the past lap or so. I think actually at some point Bridges may have made a mistake because he's actually dropped quite a fair bit back.
Yeah, he's
And,
6/10 slower than Woody last lap.
Yeah, so
So,
he's definitely choked up somewhere there.
Yeah, just a bit of a slide. Real is getting hassled here by Gunter. Can Gunter make a move into the chicane? No. Just backs out of it just in time.
And we've got some awesome battles unfolding in this race, Mark. Good to see.
So, Rob Mitchell is being caught by Adrian Palat now. Adrian's found his groove.
Certainly has. Broome got the slipstream down the main straight on Delta Woody. I don't think it's going to be enough though. Fair gap there still to the Ferrari from that BMW.
That BMW is beautiful on its brakes, so he's thought about
Getting
it.
in his mirrors.
He's getting in his mirrors. Woody can't just look forward now.
So good to see Woody. Sorry, Broome piling on the pressure onto Woody. And Bridges.
Oh, Gunter's around the outside, sorry, of Real at the hairpin.
Oh, yes, he
Oh,
is.
he's just
Wow.
lost traction there coming out of the hill, out of the turn, sorry. So Gunter's trying to get the hustle on.
Oh, no
He's
way,
going on the
down
inside. That's not an overtaken spot.
He's got it done.
He's
though,
made
Mark.
it stick. Now will Real have the better run down here? This is not a spot to move.
Certainly not. And he's run wide.
He's run wide. That's going to hurt him.
So, wow. Guntero there. Perhaps taking advantage of the old... not expecting...
Chris Broome having a look at Woody. Oh, there was almost. Slow in, fast out, get the run.
Woody a bit sketchy on the exit
He might have
there.
a run down the hill here. Who's got the better of the brakes?
I think he's going to try and claim the inside line into
Oh,
the
Woody's
first
defending. Brilliant
section.
defending by Woody. Don't go deep. He's kept
Broome
it.
here will be aiming to maximise his exit
Oh,
here.
he's just hit the outside riffle strip. That's going to hurt him.
He's actually touched the gravel as well there, so we're losing a bunch of time trying to get that better exit. Just pushing that little bit too hard.
We've got
Now-
a battle up the front as well.
Yes, we do.
It's
Tracy.
only 6/10 now. Tracy's caught him massively.
Big time, Mark. I just noticed that at the exact same time as you did on my track map. That car number 15, really close.
Chris
to
Broome's
that
had an
M4.
accident. I'll just rewind this 10 seconds and see what happened here to Chris Broome. No, I'll have to go back a bit further than that. Oh, we might have missed that by now. Unfortunately there for Chris Broome, had a bit of an off. So he's lost all that hard work from fighting Woody and Bridges. Back up to the front pack.
Here we go, Tracy running a little bit wide there on the final corner. Seems to be pretty good under brakes against that M4, which is naturally awesome under brakes anyway. So Tracy doing an awesome effort here to stay behind East, or should I say try and catch up to him. If you're East here, Mark, you've obviously got that awesome track position, you've had an incredible start. If Tracy starts getting silly here, do you let him past?
Oh, you'd have to, mate. You've got 6 seconds back to Duke. You wouldn't throw it away with still 70 minutes worth of racing. You wouldn't want to throw it away now. Yeah, if we're only 10 minutes left, you'd fight it. There is a bit of lap traffic coming up by the look of it.
And the also problem here, Mark, is it's not like Tracy's drastically quicker than East. So if Tracy does manage to get by, East might start getting held up a little bit. So then the question lies: is it really better to let him past, or do you just put him back in his box and fight it out there? It's a difficult call. It's a really difficult call for East here. Preferably, you'd obviously like to have that clean air for as long as he can. But yeah, if Tracy starts getting overly aggressive, you certainly don't want to be fighting at this stage in the race.
No, certainly not. And we'll just go back to our TV cams. We're just riding on board there for most of that lap with Tracy. What do they do? So East does a 42.5. Tracy does a 42.6.
Broom now on the back of Luke Sanders. He's got the better run out of the chicane. He's going to have the inside line into the heavy braking zone coming down the hill into the final sector. He's going to have the braking. Yes, he's got by. But is it too late now? Sanders could get the switchback. Not quite.
Oh, not quite. I don't think there's enough room there for a switchback. You've almost just got to bite your tongue and get the run onto this main straight.
Definitely.
Rather than trying a conventional switchback. So James Foster currently at the back of the field, got the leaders closing in on him. So I think top two within a second. Duke's off by himself at the moment. 2.5 seconds clear of Rob Mitchell.
And this is where we'll start to see, well, in a little bit of time from now, who's underfueled, who's gone on a fuller tank, who's trying to switch it up on strategy here. Duke's got plenty of clean air, depending on what everyone else is doing. Could try perhaps an undercut, hope that Tracy starts putting on the pressure and they lose a bit of time. It's hard to tell here, but he's got plenty of clean air to keep those tyres in good shape, which is probably what he was looking for. But even still, quite a big gap has formed. 12 seconds now from Duke to that Aston Martin of Tracy Mark.
Yeah, and they've got around Foster, sorry. And we've got Luke Sanders coming up with a drive-through.
Oh, dear me.
88, that's an accident, I do believe. Maybe. So that's coming up as a drive-through. He's in pit lane currently. So, and he's not serving the drive-through because he's actually stopped. No, he's gone again.
Interesting.
He must have thought it was a stop-go.
Maybe.
That's unfortunate. Top two is still out here.
We've got a train of three still holding strong here, just between
Churches, Huddy and Rowe.
And Churches there.
Church-
Gunter Rowe seeming to pile on the pressure on that Lexus, but not seeming to make much progress. He has been quite aggressive in this race, and he might just want to watch his tyres here, because he'll be shredding through them quite quickly at this rate, especially in this dirty air.
Yeah.
So he might just come back off here in this train at least for a little bit.
Huddy's been doing really well too to keep on the back of Churches here in that Lexus. And we said not too long ago that Lexus down this straight, I don't think there's anything that'll catch it.
No, definitely not. At least without slipstream anyway.
Sanders has a 30-second stop go. I'm assuming that would be for speeding into pit lane or speeding out of pit lane.
How good is that M4 under brakes? Just watching Rowe into that first braking zone, absolutely reeling in that Lexus easily.
Yeah.
Seems to be braking so much later, but pulling it up at the same rate. Incredible performance coming out of that BMW.
Well, that is a 2022 BMW versus, I think it's a 17 model, 16 model Lexus. So there's 6 years of development on brakes, on everything. So, yeah, really good job there by Lexus to build a car that can still keep up with the 2022 models.
Most definitely. And probably the biggest difference, at least physically, is a much bigger rear wing on that M4, as well as a much bigger, more complex diffuser. Obviously, more aero is going to help you significantly into the braking zones, and it makes sense how that development is helping in this battle.
Yeah.
Assisting Gunter Rowe.
Not helping him get around him though, is it?
Certainly not.
It's
Certainly
one thing
not.
catching, it's another thing trying to get past. We got another battle for Bridges and Woody, still battling. A little further back, and you got Chris Broom just coming at the back of the shot.
Sanders, Mark, got a 30-second stop go.
Yes. Hasn't actually told me why that is on my...
That is odd.
I would assume that would be for speeding in pit lane.
Yeah, you'd think so.
It is a very... It's not tricky, but it's a very fast entrant into pit lane. And when I was practicing here for an 8 hour, I found there's a bit of like the ripple strip painting on the wall.
Yep.
Which is about where you start to brake, and then you can get it into first gear and hit your pit limiter. But that was prior to this most recent patch where they've got a bit stricter on the pit limiter, on the speed limiter anyway. So yeah, very tricky sort of pit lane. Just because of the speed you're coming in at it.
Definitely, it is a weird one. I have actually been driving a lot of Imola this week over on iRacing, and at first glance it's quite a simple pit entry, but the line is sometimes hard to see, and because you're entering it in a fairly straight line, you're more tempted to send it in a little bit quicker, and that can sometimes get the better of people trying to be a bit greedy, gain a bit of time. But then, you know, there's no point being greedy if you're slapped with a 30-second stop and go. That's just a race killer.
That is. Even with a 90-minute race,
Yeah.
Sanders, unfortunately, I don't think he would be doing any better.
Now, Tracy still holding that very consistent gap, not really gaining, not really losing.
Oh, he
sort of
was
holding around that
right
7/10
up the diffuser out of turns 2, 3, 4.
He seems to lose
He's
it,
just
though.
got a little bit wrong, and Tracy was right up there. I think he's just backed it off. He doesn't want to pass, but he doesn't want to let East run away with it either.
Definitely the best mindset to have at this stage in the race. Just tuck in behind that rear wing and don't let him run away.
Okay, so Rob Mitchell is next to pass. Is that Foster? I think it is, yes. I was just wondering why my timing telemetry had Duke having a car pretty close to him. It's because the lap car of James Foster. Is it James? Yeah, James. So, David Mason has a white Aston Martin. Who is that? Who is in the white Aston Martin? White Mercedes, sorry. Is that Sanders? That is Sanders. So, nothing yet on pit stops. 8 tenths the gap for the leaders.
And those leaders, a considerable gap back. Now 13 and a half seconds, almost 14
Oh, Gunter's
seconds.
off. Gunter's off. He's got around
Ooh.
Huddy, but he's had a bit of a moment there at the second far chicane. With his lights on, coming up the hill. Bridges and Woody are still fighting. They've got a Chris Bream catching him at a striking pace.
Here we go. I think Tracy's actually got a bit of a run on East here.
Will he?
East swerving to avoid that slipstream.
Will he do anything with it, though?
Strong on a straight line. Will Tracy chuck it down the inside into turn 1? East going defensive there, taking the inside line, forcing Tracy to back off the power there. Claiming that racing line. Good battling there, good defending by East. But that also means they're going to start losing time to Duke.
Yeah. They've got time in hand, though. It is 20 odd seconds.
Yeah, they've got plenty of it, but it's never good to lose it. You never know what strategy's going on here.
No. Well, that's it. Mitchell's just got around Foster.
Indeed.
Adrian in the black and grey Aston Martin with a tinge of red. Car name of Broomy Stinks Like Piss. And we've got a Broomy is Ethan Stinks Like Spoilt Tuna is his team name. So
This is beautiful.
we've got some really good imaginative team names. I don't think you'd be allowed to use that in a real life racing team. Still battling here with Darren Bridges and Delta Woody in the Ferraris.
Oh no, Luke Sanders into the pits again.
Is this for an actual stop this time?
Could be retirement.
Could be, yep. So, while we're pretty quiet at the moment, I'll say that, and you got Church, Gunter, and Huddy coming back together. But while we're...
Ferraris of Woody and Bridges holding pretty strong. Down in 11th and 12th. And then we've got that battle still brewing there between Huddy, Rowe and Church. There's nothing really coming of it other than Rowe seeming to continue that slight aggressiveness here, maybe looking for a way around Churches if he's got the pace advantage. But yeah, for the most part right now, we've actually got a car running pretty slowly around the penultimate corner. I think it's Andy Lithgow. Not sure if he was letting someone past.
There is a pink Aston Martin just in front of him.
Oh, Bridges and Woody having a battle into the hairpin there. Bridges actually having to go defensive at one point. But Woody running up the hill right up behind that sister Ferrari.
Oh, Gunter's having a look here at Churches on the inside at the S's.
Ooh.
Oh, can he
He's
make
got around
it?
him.
He's got around him.
What a move.
What a move. And Huddy's right there watching it all as well.
Rowe on a charge through the field now. Wow. Oh!
Oh, that's
Jeez
very
Louise,
deep there by
that's
Churches. And Huddy's having a look on the inside. What can he do? He's made that stick.
And just
Churches
like
has lost
that much.
2 positions just like that.
Wow.
Unlucky there from Churches. A bit of distraction, a bit of lapse maybe. It's cost him 2 positions. And look how far Gunter's pulled away already. Beautiful move there by Gunter.
Exceptional. Well
Bridges
done there.
has pulled away from Woody. Woody must have had an accident.
He must have.
Had a bit of a slide or something there. Chris Broom's coming back up on him.
So Church is here, probably in a slight bit of frustration there, dropping 2 spots in 1 sector just like that. He wouldn't want to let that anger get the better of him.
No.
Best thing to do would just to be keep it civilized. Don't overwork your tires.
Don't
He's made a few
overthink it.
mistakes, but just yeah, don't overthink it. Sit back and take a few laps and then bounce back.
Yeah. I find with me, when I make a mistake, I'm too critical on myself.
Yeah.
And then that just leads to extra mistakes. So
Yeah.
if Church can just get out of his own head and just keep driving that car, he'll definitely get back into it because he's got the consistency. I think that was the first mistake in half hour of racing, almost 40 minutes of racing that he's really made. So almost looking at pit stop time,
Yeah.
depending
just
on
about
strategies.
much.
So
That's a good point.
we'll get
15
a
minutes.
driver here in.
You could probably afford to get.
I don't want to bring
might be able to
Tracy
grab
in.
Adrian. He seems to have a bit of a gap.
Yeah,
He's got some clean air, and no one really ahead or behind him now.
we'll get a Broomy in because he's always
Get a Broomy.
keen for a chat. Copy there, Mr. Broomy.
Howdy.
Howdy, mate. Your race is going all right, up to 13th at the moment.
Yeah, except for one little mishap when I got to Woody last time and then fucked it up, but
Yeah, we didn't quite catch that. Did you just run wide there at turn 4?
turn 1. And,
Turn 1?
Yeah.
Yep. So you're catching up to these two again?
Yeah, about a second a lap, so it's very difficult to pass them, but
Yeah, well, they are fighting each other, and Woody's actually got in front of Bridges since we've been talking to you.
So now, Broomy,
Yeah.
about 50 odd minutes left in this race, mate. Strategy-wise, what are we expecting out of, well, firstly yourself, and what are you expecting out of drivers around you as Bridges actually runs deep there through the chicane?
my plan, don't fuck up. What'll actually happen, probably different to my plan, and be faster than everyone else.
Taking tyres here, Broomy?
Oh yeah, have to.
Yeah.
Are you boxing early, Broomy, or are you running deep?
Always run it deep, mate.
Copy that, mate. Well, since you're in a battle, we'll leave you to it, mate, and we'll catch you back out there.
Roger. Talk to ya.
Good luck, mate.
So there we have it from Broomy. Just had a bit of a show of me nose. Bridges, I am here. What can he do?
Bridges really starting to cough up a little bit here. Had an almighty mistake through that chicane there, running very deep. I'm not sure if he might have caught the grass on entry, and that might have ruined his braking, but seemed to be running very deep all the way through the gravel there, through the chicane. And yeah, obviously now Broomy right on the back of him there in that M4.
Yeah, but you heard it from him. It's very hard to pass.
Definitely.
So, who's Rob Mitchell got behind him? Oh, he's got Sanders behind him. So Sanders didn't retire. He has made his pit stop, which is good to see. Started with 19 runners, still got 19 runners, approaching halfway point. So, what's current track temp? 33. Has gone up, what, 4 degrees since race start, Harry?
I believe race started at 28 degrees.
Oh, okay.
Track temp. So yeah, 33 degrees. Really starting to climb up into that heat where the track gets a bit slidey.
Mike
On top
Rill
of that,
is
you've
in
got the cars
pits. Sorry
in the
to
back end. All good.
sorry to interrupt. Mike Rill, first of our pitters in the car 13 Ferrari.
And it'll be interesting to see where he comes out here in relation to who he was up against. So he'll be in for fuel and tyres, you'd suspect. Yeah, what you'd expect.
Yep.
And yeah, so just up the front again, Tracy continuing to hold that gap. Drop back a little bit now from east, but it'll be interesting now as you've starting to get people peeling into the pit lane. Who's that? Car number 73 has also just come in.
That's Mark Beers in the beautiful sounding V12. A shame.
Oh!
Oh!
East has had an awful run! And Tracy's right at the back of it now. He's going to have a crack at him. East just oversteering there. Perhaps these tyres really starting to die, Mark.
Yeah, perhaps. It's what happens when you push too hard at the start. He's got a, is that an Andy in front of him coming up the hill?
Oversteering an incredible amount through that corner. Actually a really good effort to catch that M4 and not overcorrect. But those tyres now will probably be overheating a little bit.
Oh, those tyres would be gone now if they were worn before. They'd be toast by now.
Exactly.
So I wonder if he'll box his lap and have to change his strategy. Andy's got off the gas and let them come through. Good work there from Andy.
Yeah, good acknowledgement of the blue flags there. And Tracy, just like that, not leading a lap of this race, has taken the lead with 47 minutes to go. Still plenty of time, and East running awfully deep there, actually getting into the gravel, dipping that front right tyre, and losing even more time. Those tyres are definitely overheating, and he's peeled into the pit lane.
No, he hasn't. They duked
Front
each other. Tracy tried to duke him.
Yeah, sorry that my chopper cam actually, when I was focusing on Tracy, it looked like he peeled right in the pit lane, but my bad there. Won't be long until he actually does. And
further on this, East has actually got the purple lap again with a 42.407, and
Right.
Tracy's best is a 42.410. So 3/1000ths of a second between these top two at this current stage.
Yeah, so interesting now to see East struggling. One mistake, getting too much heat into those tyres on that oversteer, and look at him now, he's really struggling out there. And also on top of that, he's been in clean air the whole race, and now for the first time, he's experiencing that dirty air.
Yeah.
Add tyre wear to that, and overheating, and that's when you can really start to understand where this struggle is coming from.
Yep.
Just got so many different factors making that BMW
Let's just
act.
jump on board and see what his steering wheel movements are like.
He's actually got a good run out of that chicane there.
He really has. He's tucked up nicely behind the Aston Martin. He's going to have a look. He's going to have a look.
No,
He's
backed out of it.
just backed out of it. Tracy went a little bit deep. I think he might have just let off the brake thinking. And Tracy's in. Tracy's in the
Here we
pits.
go.
So here we go.
So East now looking for the best. This will probably be his end lap. He won't want to stay out too much longer on those worn tyres. He'll start losing time. So we've got Tracy now peeling into the pit box. And we've got East trying to have the in lap of his life. Won't want to be losing any time. And Duke staying out as well to claim.
So is Mitchell.
through that. And Mitchell.
And Adrian.
Mitchell could be a bit of a dark horse here, Mark. He's staying pretty consistent behind Duke there.
Yeah, he is. He's a fair way off of Duke, though.
True. So East now.
Tracy's just dropped and started moving.
Yep.
So where's this going to put him?
So at the moment, East is approaching the final sector. Was actually in the final sector.
He's behind Chris Broom.
Through the chicane there. Seems to have been a pretty tidy lap.
Oh, Tracy's got a drive through. Stop go.
Oh no!
What is that?
Heartbreak.
That has to be for speeding.
That's speeding.
Has
100%.
to be. So now what will East do?
So now East is laughing. I'm not sure if East would be aware of that stop go just
East
yet,
has
but he's
stayed
staying
out.
out.
We got Gunter
Wow.
in, we got Carlson in.
All of a sudden, this race is looking really good for Michael East.
Well, he hasn't made his stop yet. He could have the same thing.
True that. It's never too late.
So Duke stays out. Mitchell's in.
Mitchell is in.
Mitchell's very well safe active on the pit limiter, so let's stay on board with this pit stop.
Getting into the pit box now. Waiting for that that red box.
He's off the gas.
Power.
There it is.
There we go. Engine off as they as the pit crew
Requirement.
starts to get some fuel and jack that thing up. Get some fresh boots onto that beautiful AMG. One of my favourite race cars ever in terms of looks, at least.
Now,
So
where's
the
this
first
going to
match-
put him out? This should put him out around the Carlson Gunter stage. Gunter's already made his pit stop. He's down. And he's out.
So Tracy coming in now to serve that stop and go. Absolute heartbreak. We've also got car number 28 in the pits. That's Mitchell coming out, my bad. And East staying out. Duke coming through the final few corners. Will they come in? He is staying out again. So only 40 minutes left in this race. When this is where we're starting to see where perhaps people are, or who's actually put in more or less fuel at the start of the race. And also, I mean, wouldn't matter any more over sort of 1 or 2 laps difference, and we wouldn't really be able to notice, but fuel efficiency of the cars.
Yeah, I don't think... Like, we've both been coming from a background of Formula 1 where weight is everything. I don't think these handle all that too much different.
No, definitely. I was
From you know, from 60 litres to 120, they don't really act any different. When they get really light, yes. But
whereas from where we're from, from originally, the difference from 15 to 25 is all of a sudden a boatload of understeer. So it's certainly not as much of an impact on these cars that are already, I mean, they're not in terms of road cars, but reasonably heavy to start with compared to.
Well, they were a road car to start with. They have to go through certain amount of period as a road car, as a shape of the car anyway, and the model, before it can get scrutinised into the GT3 category. So Paul Huddy up to 4th.
Duke is peeling into the pit lane.
And East is in pit lane.
Indeed. Oh, Duke there, almost coming to a complete stop upon pit entry. Has he entered quick and tried to...
We've got an M. Seymour just joined. He's 29 laps down. I don't...
Anything's possible.
Well...
So as Duke
East is out pretty quickly. I don't think East has taken tyres.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, he's gone out pretty quick. As Duke was peeling into the box, East was coming out of pit lane, and that's Adrian Pilat, who has also come in, I believe.
Yeah, and Paul Huddy.
Yep, so we've got a lot of drivers coming into the pit lane now.
I thought that was Chris Broom.
Roughly the same strategy.
So Chris Broom stayed out.
So Churches takes the lead, obviously not having stopped yet. East in the effective lead at the moment in that M4 has been leading for 95% of the race, other than that few laps that Tracy took the lead before that unfortunate speeding penalty.
Yeah.
But East now looking pretty good, and we don't know if he's changed tyres in that stop. Interesting. We'll see how he goes.
I don't think he did.
That's fascinating, because we've seen, like, we obviously heard from Broomy, in his words, you have to take him pretty much.
And he's in a sister car to what East is in.
Yeah.
The setup wouldn't hurt or hinder your tyre wear.
No, unless you're, like, the only time I would is if you're running a considerable extra amount of camber.
Camber, yeah.
But you typically wouldn't.
Or tow, but...
or tow.
Yeah, depending on... Yeah, it's just very interesting. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he did take tyres. It just looked like a very quick pit stop.
The extra camber, I mean, potentially more camber could explain the pace difference, but then you'd think if he was running aggressive camber, he'd want to take tyres in the stop. So it's it's a confusing one. It's confusing.
It really is. I'm just waiting to see what Duke comes across the line and does, because their pit boxes were about the same. So East done a 2:23 as his outlap, and Duke's just done a 2:36, so 13 seconds slower than East.
It's got to be something with pit box positioning, or actually, no, sorry, the tyres. Yeah, no, that's.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
It's tricky.
I don't think he took tyres. I'd be very surprised if he did. Churches still has the lead of this race effectively due to not stopping. Chris Broom up to P3 due to not stopping. And Falconer is got the Bentley up to 4th. We haven't seen much of the Bentley today.
No, he's we haven't really seen him much at all in this race.
I thought the Bentley would be a pretty hot car for this, knowing that it can run the curbs extremely well.
Yeah, absolute curb gobbler, that thing.
So
Monster truck.
I'm surprised it wasn't a bit more featured. I knew the Aston was going to be a hot favourite just from how stable that is. Who's that in the pit lane? That is Foster, currently in the pits.
So Beast running away with a considerable lead here. Well, obviously not counting Churches, who hasn't hitted. The gap back to Delacroix is about 33 seconds.
Yeah, well, Delacroix is just coming into turn 2, and East is up top of the hill.
Yeah, no, there's no way East took tyres. There's no way he did.
No.
Because that gap is significant, and we'll note it down now. The gap roughly is 32, 33 seconds from him to Duke. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, just tricky one.
So we'll run through. It's Church. So up the top there, it's Churches, Chris Broome, Falconer, and Mason still yet to pit. There is a few more. We've also got
someone in the pit. Is that Sanders in the pit? It is.
I think. Yeah.
Just.
So yeah, sorry. It is only those guys.
Churches, Broome, Falconer, and Mason.
Yes. Mason now actually has Adrian all over the back of him. I'd like to think Mason would pull over out the way, considering Adrian has already pitted.
I mean, it shouldn't be overly hard for Adrian to make this move anyway, being on fresher tyres.
You'd think so, and as we say that, Adrian zooms on by after being let past there onto the main straight.
So that's really good racing from Mason, knowing he's not racing Adrian.
Yeah.
That's not his battle, but if he can stick with him now, he might catch up to where his battle is. Yeah. So East last lap done a 43.3. Duke's done a 42.9. Mitchell's done a 43.9. And Tracy done a 43 flat. So if East didn't take tyres, it hasn't cost him anything yet. He's about a second and a bit off his PB though. He comes across the line again to do a 43.4 that time. So he's about a second and a half down on his PB. Chris Broome does a 45 flat. So who have we got left to pit? We've got Churches, Broome, Falconer and Mason. Still yet to pit. With little over 30 minutes left to race.
Certainly plenty of time for... obviously the tyres will easily make it from now. Shouldn't be too much of a worry.
Most
and
people,
also,
yeah.
as the time we're starting to get towards mid-evening or mid-late evening, the track hypothetically should start to cool down a little bit, but probably not enough to make much of a difference. So the field will probably start to calm out a bit now, but also on top of that, as the race starts to come to a finish, people will be looking to make some late moves. This is the time for racing. This is the time for overtaking.
That's right.
This is what you spend the start of the race buying a ticket for.
Tracy has just got past Woody, I do believe, and closing up on Mike Rill. So let's get another driver in. Let's get Tracy in here, I think. Are you there, Tracy?
Yep.
Yeah, great first stint, mate. What happened there with your stop-go?
I just completely misjudged the pit entry.
Yeah, so speeding.
I just got to drive through because I ran wide at Agriminor.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Alright.
I was just gonna have a good comeback drive too. Maybe make P10. Oh well.
It's still there, mate. You're comfortably quicker than the guys in front. So, yeah. So,
It's really disappointing to have just ruined another race where I had good pace. I done stupid shit.
yeah. You had the pace on East, mate. Were you looking to overtake him in that first stint, or just happy to hang behind him?
I wanted to get by him. I wasn't sure, just because I don't know what fuel strategy he's on. I don't know if he was going the splash and dash at the end, maybe. Because I kind of felt like he should have had more pace than that, but I felt like the pace on him, and just the dirty air here is really bad. It's just like you get within a second, and it's really hard to stay close and set up a move.
Well, we actually believe that he didn't take tyres on his pit stop. Do you think that might have been a strategy?
That's what I think he was doing, because he had such good pace, especially in quali, so I'd be surprised if he wasn't doing that. That's the only way I think that I would have been keeping up with him.
Yeah, rightio. Alrighty, mate. Well, we'll let you go back to it, and hopefully you can have a decent comeback drive, mate.
No worries, thanks.
Thank you. So, there you have it.
So yeah, really unfortunate race there for him. Like you said, strong pace, but you know, this is racing, and we're humans. We make mistakes.
And this is endurance racing too.
Exactly.
You know, a 45-minute race, it would have been done and dusted by now, and he probably would have been drinking at least P2, but currently down in P15 and a lap down now too. So theoretically, best he could do is P9, I think. They are all lap down from there, so unfortunately from Tracy. Let's get another driver. Where's Paul Hudd in everything there? Harry? Got a bit of time to himself?
Yep.
Are you there, Huddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, great race so far, mate. Currently P9. Just talk us through the first hour.
Oh, there you go, mate. I wonder what was going on there. Just hang on 2 secs.
Yeah, mate. Take your time.
Yep. Yeah, going all right. Wasn't sure whether or not to stop for tyres as well, but we'll see what happens at the end of the race.
So
Cost
you,
an extra 15 seconds on top of the fuel, so I was, to-ing and fro-ing.
so you've not
But,
taken tyres?
No, I have, so it's an extra 15
okay.
seconds.
Yeah, rightio. Yep.
That's going to help me in the next 26 minutes. Who knows?
Who knows? So you're having a great battle with the Gunter and Churches there for that first stint, mate. Just talk us through how you found that.
Well, Churches, he's obviously a new guy, so sometimes when you race against new guys, you're not really sure where to put the car sometimes. I think I was a little bit quicker than him.
Yep.
But I didn't want to collide with him, so I just sat with him. And then Gunter come up behind me, and he got by me within about 2 or 3 laps.
Yep.
And then he got past Simon Churches.
Yep. Oh, don't make a mistake, mate. Jesus.
And then Churches went wide, and I got by as well. So yeah, good little battle.
saying that, mate, Churches is right behind you on track, so
Yes,
I wouldn't
I know.
make too many more mistakes.
He's on my clacker. He's only 2 seconds back.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he'll be there in no time. So, alrighty, mate, we'll leave you to it and have a great final step of the race. You've got 25 minutes to go.
Thanks, buddy.
So, Huddy's taking tyres, Harry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think really the only person we haven't seen take tyres is East, and it's really interesting to see. The gap is dropping by about 6 to 7 tenths, probably not even a lap from East to Duke. But it's still 30 seconds, Mike, and there's only 25 minutes left in this race.
Yeah.
And that's really making me start to think. I mean, I guess East had the upper on pace. Perhaps for others that didn't have his level of pace out there today, they couldn't afford not to take tyres. It's hard to say, but at this moment anyway, definitely the right call for East not to take tyres.
Yeah, he's got an absolute gap. Chris Broom's just been passed by, I do believe that is Tracy. Obviously not for position, unlapping himself. Chris is still yet to pit himself anyway, I do believe. Yes, he is. Him and Mason are the only two left not to pit. So, yeah, very interesting to see what will happen next. Obviously, as you said, 23 minutes left of racing. And a considerable margin to try and reel in for Michael East. But as we've seen, racing is anything. Anything can happen.
Definitely, and more so, like you said to me earlier, endurance racing specifically, unlike sort of normal sprint racing where, you've only got half an hour, or lapped races, should I say. Endurance racing, it's always unfolding, it's never quite over, and there's so much stuff that can happen, different strategies, different cars, different situations. It's incredible. That's, I think, why we all love endurance racing that so much.
Yeah, yeah. All about the fuel burn. Who can burn the least? Famously done by the V8s. They do the backwards pit stops to work out when to stop. So typically in real life they'd go a full tank from the end of the race to a certain lap, and then they'd work out their pit strategies that way. Obviously we don't need to do this here with 90 minutes worth of racing. It's about 140 odd litres, I think it is, worth of fuel, and the car can hold 120, most of them anyway, so just depends on how you want your strategy to go. But Chris Broom's still out there, P2, starting from pit lane, still yet to box. So unfortunately, and here he comes now. Oh, he's hit the grass coming into the pit lane.
Oh, wow.
That's a bit different. I was just about to say, unfortunately, we're not going to get a drive pit lane to race win this week. As Sanders is currently in the pits again. In that beautifully white AMG, I must say. The nose of that thing looks very neat. As most cars do in today's race, we haven't had too many collisions. Don't think we've had any, actually. So, Rob Mitchell moves up to third. I wonder if... No, he won't come out fifth. Won't even come out sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th. Churches has pulled right back onto the back of Huddy, mate. So this This battle that we've
Yeah.
had all race is back on.
Is back on, better than ever.
And Chris,
Awesome to see here.
and Chris Breen's right behind these two, just freshly come out of pits. And he told us previously that he was coming with tyres.
Oh, the Lexus! Having a look down the inside. Wow.
That is,
Wow.
that's
And he's
for
run
position. That's a bit of lag. That is for position, but I
Nice. Oh, yeah.
do believe
Yeah,
Mason's got a pit though.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Huddy taking no time, well, not wanting to waste any time getting past.
taking
his
no
traffic.
prisoners, mate. Taking no prisoners.
Taking no prisoners. He's leaving no mercy, trying to bridge that gap to the Aston Martin, but doesn't seem to be working here. And the pressure is on. The fight is on from him and Churches. And there's still plenty of time to go. 20 minutes of racing left on the clock mark.
This could be 20 minutes worth of sweating for Huddy. He's got a very quick Chris Breamy charging from behind, who's still got to get past Mason yet for position, but Mason will have to be pitting very shortly. This is a favourite strategy of yours, I do believe, Harry, going as long as you can in that fuel tank of the Aston
Yep.
Martin and doing a splash and dash.
Yeah, definitely the way to go. Yeah, following in the footsteps. Awesome to see, and I love seeing that car doing well out there. It's awesome to see. Oh, wow. Speaking of which, Churches really lay on the brakes there, getting right up the diffuser of that Lexus. Awesome battle unfolding there. We've got a few cars in the pit lane. The final
You just
of
got-
our...
Sanders
Is it- I believe-
still in the pits. I think he might be AFK or AFW.
Yeah.
Or
Car number
AFC.
45, who's that?
That is Mason. Just
Hard. So he'd be, what, is he
making.
the final of our
Yeah,
pits?
he's our final that hasn't pitted.
He's really dragged those tyres out then. Oh my lord.
Yeah, yep. An hour and 10 minutes is about the limit for the fuel range as well. Unless if you're running a lower engine map. So, Michael East has just let Mark Beers. I was just about to say my other programs here saying someone's behind East by 6/10. It is Mark Beers
Yeah.
down in P17. Unfortunately, I don't think the V12 was quite the right car for here.
Probably not, unfortunately, to say. I mean, it is quite an old car, Mark. The aero, even if you just have a quick glance at it, definitely less complex than some of the other cars out there.
Well, funny you say that because get off topic a little bit. The V12 at Bathurst, not a very aero dependent track. There's one sector where you need it on top of the hill, obviously. But you can run full aero on the V12 and still do near on 300 k's down Conrod.
Jeez.
So the little aero it does have, it doesn't really affect its straight line speed. So I would have turned it all on for this.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it'd be interesting. Actually, let's get Mark into here. He's always up for a chat. Are you there, Beasler?
I am. How are you?
Good, mate. You've got the honours
Piece of shit.
of the best sounding car on track, mate. Talk us through your race at the moment.
Yeah, I'm driving like a potato. Probably not the best choice
Oh,
of cars.
look out,
but-
there's a
Oh,
Ferrari
shit, there's
around in
fucking
front of
cars
you.
everywhere. They're not the best choice of cars, but, you know, method to the madness and all that. But
Method to the
look, I'm
madness.
having a clean race, but it was never in contention, man.
Well, we
Oh,
did
never
just
was
say
anyway,
that,
but yeah.
actually. I think it's one of our cleanest that we've had. I don't think there's been any major incidents.
There was a couple of little excited yells earlier in the race, but that's about all, really. I've really just trying to settle into something and see the race out. I'm happy just to finish it, to be fair. So,
Yep.
push to talk and turn at the same time.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's not too bad. I just went pretty standard stuff, like standard strategy, standard everything. I'm just happy to complete it, really.
Yep.
Happy. I started off doing 147, so it was never going to be anywhere near the front or anything, or even mid-pack. But yeah, I think I've done a 146.
Yeah, 146.1 according to
yeah.
our lap time.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that.
So,
pretty happy with that. Lovely.
All right. So
But
you're.
other than that, yeah, no, yeah, the swarm of bees, as good as it sounds,
Yep.
not doing it for me today. So
Not doing it for you.
Nah, I did. To be honest, I did have a steering wheel firmware update got done on me about half an hour before the race.
Oh, that's always handy.
Yeah. Normally when it happens, it resets all the buttons. So I reset all my paddles and got everything working. And yeah, I've been stuck in a different view that I'm not familiar with because I forgot to remap my my view button as well. So I'm kind of driving in a weird thing, and it's just not. I can't get my head around it, but it is what it is. No excuse. It's still a car, I guess. So.
Every excuse, mate.
Oh mate, I've got them all. I've probably used them all before.
Yeah, Roger. Roger. Alrighty, mate.
So,
well,
what's the rest of the race going like? I haven't really been involved in it, so.
Well, Tracy got a drive-through.
Okay.
A stop-go, sorry, for speeding in pit lane, I do believe he said, and then he got a drive-through when we were talking to him for track limits. So that's kind of thrown him out. He was settled to take East on for the win.
Excellent.
East has just got a massive lead at the moment, just down to Duke in P2. So
Well, I was going to say, where's Duke? I haven't even seen him the whole race, so.
yeah, Duke's P2, Rob Mitchell's 3, Adrian's 4, Gunter's 5, mate. So
Nice. And a great Lithgow.
A-Great Lithgow is behind you in 18th.
Ah, righto. I'll have to slow down. We'll have a race.
1 lap behind you, mate.
Nah, no worries.
So,
All right, boys, I'll leave you to pick on someone else.
alrighty, mate, we'll leave you to it
Cheers
and
for the chat.
have fun for the last 12 minutes.
I will do. Have a
See you,
good one.
mate. Bye.
Yeah, try.
Okay, Mark. Now, in the midst of that, obviously, we saw Bridges go around there right in front of Beers there.
Yep,
Bridges is now in a battle with Tracy down in 14th there.
and I think Tracy's just gonna get around. Oh no, he's giving him room. Tracy could have.
Oh, he smacked the
He
curb.
smacked that curb very hard there. Is Woody just up the road? No, Woody's battling with someone else.
You know when you see those videos, those funny like fail videos on YouTube of people falling over, and you just sort of feel it. When you see him smack those curbs, you get that same sort of feeling. You just sort of squint your eyes and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that would have hurt.
Yep. Yep. So Tracy got the head down again, mate. After his drive through, and he stopped going. He's all
Enjoying
over
a
the
bit of
back of
racing.
all over the back of Bridges. So
Good to see him continuing there. Obviously, would have been absolute heartbreak losing a opportunity to potential win, but still having fun out there on track. You know, racing is racing at the end of the day.
it is.
Might not be the exact position that you want, but if you don't look at the numbers, you're having fun out there on track, getting some battling, and so good to see him at least having someone down there to fight, and it looks like a pretty even battle so far.
Yeah. Obviously, lap times tell a different story. Tracy goes around the inside now into turn 2. Will Bridges fight it? No, he doesn't. He's tucked in behind him.
And I reckon Tracy will bolt away now in that clean air.
Yeah, he's got a bit of it now too, hasn't he?
Yeah, fair bit of it. A fair bit of it. 10 minutes to go in this race, Mark, and East is still holding a considerable lead. That gap to Duke hasn't really dropped in any considerable fashion. 30 seconds roughly back to that Mercedes. It's looking really good here for Michael East.
Yeah, and he's just got around Adam Falconer and Delta Woody, who are battling for 11th.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, a bit too far up the road for Tracy to get to. So I think 13th will be the best for Tracy out of this race. Chris Broom up to 9th, starting from 19th. So he's moved 10 positions in the right direction, thankfully. So with 10 minutes left, Harry, driver of the day, mate.
Driver of the day. That's a hard one to put here. Obviously, I'd like to say East, but that's obviously just picking the winner. So not including him. Let's just have a look here. You know what? I'm actually going to say Mitchell here. In that Mercedes, he's been playing his own race. You know, a fair gap back to Duke, but he hasn't really stepped the foot wrong mark, and he's actually worked his way up onto the podium in that Mercedes. You could also say Adrian. He's had a pretty clean, consistent race.
Oh, you can say that for 2, 3, and 4, mate. Duke, Robert,
Yeah,
and
really, both of them have had really good races. Not really, just textbook. Not really stepping a foot wrong. No accidents. I give it to either of them. But just, you know, for stepping onto that podium, I'm going to say Mitchell.
Yeah, right. There you have it. Me, I would have to go Huddy.
Yeah, that's also a definitely a good one.
Or Rowe. For a comeback drive, you'd have to go Rowe.
Yeah, and we've also seen some awesome moves from Rowe throughout this race. So
yeah, and Huddy's always found himself in a bit of fight somewhere, whether he's attacking or defending, and just never really he's never really stressed about it, has he? He's just kept on the circuit and kept
Keeps
that
on
Lexus looking pretty straight, and yeah. So.
I will never forget the day that I used him as an 8-ball ball at Suzuka into the final chicane.
You and the rest of the Jandal League, mate. I don't think we'll ever forget that.
I mean, yeah, he went on to spear into half the field, I'd say. So, yeah, no one will forget that day. That's in the history books. But you know what? Let's give driver of the day to Huddy.
So there you go, Huddy. You got the driver of the day. Albeit with 7 minutes left, the racing in Church. Church is right up your clacker still. So I don't quite remember when they got together, but it was pretty early on in the first half hour, I think. And they've never really lost each other either. So, just looking who else could make a move. Broomy's lost touch on Church and Huddy. So I think Broomy's happy to consolidate 9th. But he's got Rill coming at him a couple of tenths a lap. Falconer, after that spin on lap 1, come home from maybe P11. He's got a Woody right behind him though. That Bentley versus the Ferrari down the straight's got no match whatsoever in the Ferrari.
No, certainly not.
Might as well just hang the white flag out the window. Call it a day, because you won't catch that Bentley down a straight line.
Most certainly not. Adrian there, just weaving past Mike Beers into the chicane.
30.
The very different looking Aston. Obviously, for that, I think it's a 2019 Vantage. Aston Martin taking quite a considerable cosmetic change compared to their
older counterpart.
yeah, all the counterparts. Very different looking, but definitely still a stunning car.
Oh, they all are, aren't they? Oh, there's an off. Is that an Andy? That is an Andy. Had a major moment.
Oh,
Let's go back 30
Big one.
seconds and watch this. We'll go cockpit cam, see what's happened. He's coming down the hill. He's got his good mate Mark right in front of him. So his beers caused an accident here. Throwing out a VB or something out of the window. Oh no, he's just lost it. He's just lost it on the curb. Done it all himself. Unlucky there. That would have caused a bit of damage to the M4. 4 minutes left to racing.
and
Huddy's...
Churches still seems
Yeah.
to be piling on the pressure. Huddy peeling away a little bit, but the gap's sort of twisting and turning back and forth here.
Exactly what we found when it was the other way around too.
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. The driver's sort of, obviously when you're tucked in behind someone, you're wrestling that dirty air, and
both
sometimes
cars
you can predict it really well.
are strong and weak at different sectors. I don't think the Lexus is
exactly right.
very strong through this part of the track.
Because you're surrounded in curbs.
Yeah, and but as soon as it gets to open its legs, he pulls away just a little bit from Churches. Obviously, the newer Aston Martin's better on the brakes than the older Lexus, but still, what a battle!
Awesome stuff to see. Look at that. Yeah, as you said, the braking capability on that Aston Martin Vantage is much more than that Lexus. But here we go onto the back straight. Even with that slipstream, that Lexus,
He's just
gets
pulling
to-
away.
yeah, he gets to stretch out its legs a bit and absolutely run away. Look at that. Any other car in the Aston would have been reeling it in, but yeah. But look at that, into the braking zone.
Yeah, he's
wow,
just-
Cam, that's unbelievable.
Under the brakes, he's got him.
If he can, if he's noticing that, which you'd have to be blind not to. If he gets, sort of within 4/10, 3/10, and he's heading into a braking zone, might just be tempted to take a bit of a lunge. He'd probably be surprised in.
Well, what's going on here? Mark and Andy are causing a bit of dramas here by the look of it.
They got out of the way pretty well though, which was good to see. We've got 2 minutes to go, I believe. Where is our mate Michael East?
He's just come up the hill out of the hairpin.
Okay, so you'd be
He's about to
his
lap
next lap
Michael
should be
Rill.
white flag.
Yep, I would assume so.
Almost be safe to put all your money on that one. By the time he crosses the line, there'll probably
Now,
be.
there was a battle for car 58, which is Gunter Rowe, and Samuel Carlson is slowly catching Gunter here. But apart from that, Adam Falconer is just Delta Woody's still right behind him for P11. But with 1 lap to go, we will jump on board with Michael East. We'll ride helmet cam for the final lap, ladies and gentlemen, around Imola. Perfect day for racing. Another cloud in the sky. Comes around turn 2, 3. Oh, just a bit of ripple strip, and 4 unsettled the car. But great control there by East. Coming into 5 and 6. Using the engine braking very well in the BMW. Swerving for some reason. Comes up the hill. Car 172 is next on his radar,
Should be plenty of gap there, you think?
which is Chris Broome. Depending on whether or not Broome wants to do another lap, he might just back out of it here and call it a day. Comes up the hill for the final time around Imola.
Flashing the lights here. East hasn't really stepped a foot wrong. We've only really seen one mistake there in that first sector early on that lost him the lead for a few laps there to Tracy, but really, what a drive here from Michael East. A dominant qualifying and an even more dominant race. Not choosing to take the tyres here at Imola. Michael East is going to come on to the back straight, the main straight rather, to take the win here. Round 4 of the Jandal Racing Series at Imola. Michael East is the winner. Congratulations.
We'll try and get him into the come box. Are you there, Michael East?
Hello.
Hello, mate. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Just talk us through that, mate. We are still live, so just talk us through that race, mate. Talk us through that. Talk us through that first stint. Oh, his car's died.
Interesting.
No, he left.
Right.
Did he
That's
go tell Broome off? Maybe.
Perhaps.
Are you back, mate?
Yeah, just right at the end of the race, you made me take out someone.
Oh, did you take someone out?
Yeah, they hadn't finished the race.
Oh, was that Broome that you took out?
Nah, it wasn't Broomy.
Wasn't Broome?
No.
Oh, what a shame. Anyway, mate, yeah, talk us through your race, bud.
It was pretty good. I raced with Tracy, but he got a drive-through.
Yep.
And a
Stop go as well.
Stop and go, yeah. So.
Yep.
But yeah, we were fighting for the lead. But
Yeah.
I'm betting I'm going to get a 30-second penalty for that, for what I just did, so...
Nah, you'll be right, mate. You'll be right.
Oh, I'll have a look at it in the replay.
Yeah, we're riding on board. Did you... One talking point we were asking ourselves all race, did you take tyres in your pit stop?
No, I didn't. There's no point.
No point?
Might as well... Yeah, there's no point, because if you take tyres, you're 30 seconds down.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
How was your tyre wear at the end of the race?
I'll have a look.
Oh, did they feel like rubbish or?
Yeah, I was driving on, like, butter.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so my tyres were down to 1.8, 1.7 at the rears.
Ooh.
So they're very, very damaged.
Yeah, righty-o. Alrighty then, mate. Well, we'll put you back up there and we'll call it a day. And yeah, congratulations again on the win, bud.
Oh, I don't think it'll be a win.
Nah, you'll have it.
Mate, I took out someone at the end of the race. I destroyed him, and he was still going.
Who was it?
I don't know, but you guys dragged me in, and I couldn't, like, I don't know.
I'll have a look. All right, mate. We'll talk later.
Thanks.
All right. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. For round 4 of the Jandal Racing League. Harry, you got anything else?
Nah,
You wanna
no,
say?
I don't think so. Pretty dominant win there from Michael East. Obviously, a little bit skeptical of a potential penalty there, but I wouldn't think so.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
But overall, yeah, really dominant drive there. Obviously, choosing not to take the tyres, actually shot at the end of the race, but incredible drive from him all across qualifying, or practice, qualifying, and then the race, staying really consistent, really only making one mistake.
Yep.
Duke obviously doing well to bring home in second, but yeah, no one really had the pace for Michael East.
No. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week for I don't even know where we are next week. So tune in and we'll all find out together. And it's only a 45-minute race next week, and we'll see you all then. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night.
Thanks, guys.